Good evening. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden deep inside Pakistan.
Hello. Unfortunately, यहाँ ये Washington आना पड़ रहा है. In fact, I'm on my way to Washington. I've been sitting in a train.
It was alleged that Osama bin Laden had been living in Pakistan for the past 5 years, a portion of which was during Musharraf's presidency.
You are really asking people to believe that Osama bin Laden could have spent all this time living right under your noses and nobody would have known about it?
Yes, I'm saying that. And I mean every word of it.
When Osama bin Laden is found less than a mile from a major military compound in a suburb of your capital, it raises some eyebrows.
We can't be sending billions of dollars to these people any longer and having them aid the Taliban. That's insane. That's almost criminal.
Al-Qaeda is stronger. Taliban is stronger. Where did the money go?
It's a very difficult task to convince anyone that there was no complicity. I am going to try to do that.
The timing on the U.S. raid on Osama bin Laden couldn't have been worse for Musharraf. Since rumors of his involvement were everywhere, Musharraf needed to clear his name. He needed to reassure his old friends of his innocence and to get their blessings for his political comeback.
There are aspersions against Pakistan of hiding Osama bin Laden. First of all, is United States against Pakistan or annoyed with the army and ISI because they believe that there was complicity? My view is that there was no complicity, and I would like to say a few words on that. There was negligence, certainly. But that is shame. We are all ashamed. Even I, who have nothing to do with the government now, I'm ashamed of this, that there was this degree of negligence by ISI that we didn't know. I think negligence is pardonable. After all, the CIA was very negligent in 9/11 and 2001. They didn't know 18 people being trained. The CIA, such a big organization, could be sleeping. ISI was also sleeping, and let's leave it at that.
I'm about results. That's what I heard today. He didn't do.
How do you think they received the president, members of Congress and some senators? Why were they being so cold, and you think, what were their accusatory things?
Well, they all feel, many members, that they have $20 billion invested in Pakistan in the last 10 years, and they have nothing to show, and particularly post Osama bin Laden's capture and assassination.
Frankly, here I feel the senators and congressmen are too involved in what we call in the army in minor tactics. That we gave you 10 billion, tell us what you did. Now I will tell them we bought 18 guns, we bought 24 tanks. For heaven's sake, we used them. I reduced poverty from 34 to 17%.
Why do you think Americans care about it? Look, I don't think that any member of Congress voted for a nickel out of the 20 billion because of your economy or poverty. I mean, we let the whole continent of Africa go. So Americans in general didn't pay attention to it. They didn't care about it. Okay. What they all want to hear is, what do we have to change so our money is used, in a positive way to protect Americans from terrorism, from radical Islam, Al-Qaeda? Who's going to do that for us?
All that I'm saying is, I have certain credentials of the past. I need to come again. And I need to be supported, not overtly, but in a covert manner, that we win again.
I have to tell you, we've known each other a long time, but it is very, very, very hard to believe.
Okay. There was no complicity.
At some level, I'm just saying, at some level, okay.
Somebody knew.
Somebody knew something.
You tell me,
it's just so hard to
when you say that you know me so well, Tell me, I'm looking into your eyes when I say I didn't know it. Do you mistrust me?
I think you didn't know it, but I would also think, that as the leader of the country, you would have known there were some bad actors who could have done this kind of thing, who could have been, complicit in this, and that you probably, for whatever reasons, didn't find it a priority to take care of the bad actors.
Of the Americans don't understand anything. Fighting against terrorism and extremism is not a very easy job. Pakistan has suffered casualties. The West tends to ignore this.
Sir, let's forget about America for a second. We used to support these Taliban groups. When you came into power, you were the first one to put a stop to that. You did that, right?
No, I think one has to understand the entire developments, historical perspective. Pakistan had recognized the Taliban in our own geostrategic interest. We always used to have our forces oriented towards the east against India. In 1990s, as time progressed, India started having tremendous influence in Afghanistan, creating a threat on our western borders. So it was in our interest to eliminate this. To counter that, we started supporting warlords from the tribal region who happened to be Taliban. They were trained and armed and sent into Afghanistan to fight. So this is what happened. The circumstances led to it. Benazir supported Taliban. Nawaz Sharif supported Taliban. Now I come on the scene. I continued following that. However, I must clarify, if we were supporting them, that doesn't mean that we want Talibanization of Pakistan. That is not the case. Never did Pakistan want the Taliban views on religion to be in Pakistan.
Well, that's exactly what ended up happening.
This is what the people of Pakistan must understand, because they don't even understand. They even challenge, why are we behaving like this in 1990s or 1980s? The situation demanded it. It's easy to talk with hindsight. It's not easy when you are at that moment taking a decision.
Sir, would you ever support the militant groups again?
We should realize that if we have war against India, Pakistan has to take its own countermeasures to safeguard its own security, and that may be running counter to our strategy or war against Al-Qaeda and Taliban.
Straight from the horse's mouth. I had tried hard to ignore what others had said.
Musharraf and his generals concocted this policy, which was effectively designed to have it both ways. Contain militant groups within Pakistan, trying to placate the Americans, but retain them in reserve as a possible future option for Pakistani youth, either in India or in Afghanistan.
This is what we have learned from our history. This is an old tradition that whenever you create a militant for achieving some political objectives, the militant get out of your control.
As a result of that, you have seen how much we have suffered. And every day you find there is a terror attack on various targets in Pakistan. Suicide bombing, roadside bombings, blast, and other terror acts against the innocent people of Pakistan.